Jury selection will continue at least one more day in the Mohamed Noor trial.
Tomorrow, there'll also be a discussion about how much evidence the public will get to see. Lou Raguse is live at the Hennepin County Courthouse with today's developments. Hi, Lou.
Hi. The media coalition, including KARE 11, has filed a motion asking Judge Catherine Quaintance to reconsider her decision to shield certain evidence, including body camera video, from the public during this trial. This is evidence that the judge herself today called crucial to this case. The coalition argues that in order to hold an open trial under the First Amendment, all the evidence that is shown to the jury should also be shown to the public gallery. Meantime, jury selection continues now with questioning the panel in a large group. Noor's defense team is perhaps planting a seed with the jury by asking them what they do for a living and then whether they were qualified to do that job after they passed training and certification. Because when they filled out their questionnaires, there were several potential jurors that speculated that Noor was unqualified to be an officer, and none of those details will come out in the trial, so something that might be on the back of the mind of some potential jurors during this case. Now, the jury selection will continue tomorrow morning, but if it's not filled by 3 o'clock when that other hearing starts tomorrow, then jury selection will have to continue on Monday. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Lou.